Right, the camera is now effectively rolling, Kyle, so if you don't wish your friends and family to know how foully you really can swear, you've got to be minding your P's and Q's from here on in. Have you ever done anything like this before?
What do you mean?
Driven on track?
Go-kart racing, but not...
okay, well, the track bears more than the passing resemblance to a kart track, but that is about it. I mean, the big difference between this and the karts that you've driven...
Differentials.
Well, it's not that. This is a lot heavier. We've got a lot more power. It's a car.
The beast.
Absolutely. So, what do you want to get out of this today?
What was that?
What do you want to get out of your experience today?
I want to be a better racer. I want to develop a strategy and refine my skills.
Have you ever raced before?
You know, that sounds silly, but like, I mean, in video games and I'm into racing, but I've never really had the opportunity to actually race.
Okay.
But I would really like to actually understand the philosophy behind racing and the strategy towards it.
Okay. Well, we can certainly look at that, but you've kind of got to build things up.
Okay.
I mean, you know, whoever it happens to be, your Tony Kanans, whoever they are, they haven't just got behind the wheel of a car and been good at it. They've learned how to do it, and they've learned some basic building blocks. And yeah, these are guys who can get cars going at an appreciable speed around any track they're driving on, but their focus is always on control. So whatever we're doing today, we're going to be looking at control, because if we get the control right, that's where the results are going to come from. Okay, so with that in mind, let's just take a quick look at how you've sat yourself behind the wheel. You've let me already know that you're into stick shift, but we don't have this here.
I understand
before.
Triptronic.
Okay, you've used it on...
I'm 100% aware of the technology of Triptronic, how it functions.
It's not the technology and how it functions. Knowing how something works and actually being able to use it in a live situation, they can be a little bit different. We'll have a go at it, by all means. You may find that I'm giving you so many other things to think about that the last thing you want to worry about is what happens when I actually...
No, I'm going to be shifting.
Okay.
I understand that when you're approaching a turn, you shouldn't shift up, you should remain in the lower gear, because you're going to shift up and then immediately shift back downwards.
Okay.
Type of thing, you know what I mean?
I do, but I need you to work with me on this, because you've never done this before.
Okay.
As I say, we need to build... If we find that you've got the capacity to do it, we'll get you using the pedals very, very quickly. But to start off with, let's allow you to focus on the things that are going to matter about getting the corners the corners right. The ability to flick the pedals is that sort of stuff. That's where we're going to be looking at. Okay, so leave your left foot where it is. You're going to be operating brake and gas as you normally would. First thing I've got to point out to you. No, that's the park brake. That's the park brake, so just forget about it. We're not going to be using that today. In fact, if you have touched it, if you can just pull the lever by your right knee just to release that again. Cool. So first thing I've got to point out to you is we have got some offset between the brake and the gas. Now you're covering the gas at the moment. That's right. To get onto the brake, so when you use the brake, try and get right into the middle of the pedal there, not on the edge of it. That's it.
Yeah, not like this.
Yeah, it's a definite defined movement. You've got to come back and on. It's not a slide across, so bear that in mind as you're doing it. Now actually the first exercise we're going to do, just to give you the feel for how this car modulates on its brakes, is a high-speed emergency stop. So I'll give you a little rehearsal of that before we do it for real.
Is it anti-lock braking system?
It's got everything on it. This one's got all the gongs and whistles.
So if I slam on the brakes, can I turn?
Yeah, you can.
A little bit, barely.
No, you'll be able to know. One of the things, if you think of ABS as ability to brake and steer, that's really what it's there for.
Without it, I wouldn't be able to turn. Or it will turn, but it would tilt, and it would be crooked and be out of control. Okay.
The car's going to corner without the need to be on the brakes. Okay. ABS is there for an emergency. So if you're driving along and the guy in front of you suddenly slams the anchors on, you're so close that you've got to steer around him as well as braking at the same time. That's what the system is there for. One of the things we're going to be looking at today is actually we don't want to be braking and steering at the same time. So we need to get the braking done before we turn, so we can
straight line braking.
Keep the car as stable as possible going through the corners. Now again, when you're karting, you might trail brake, but the kart's set up to trail brake. This isn't. It's a lot bigger.
Trail brake?
Well, trail brake is when you're actually braking into the apex, and it's a racing technique, but you've got to set a car up to do that.
So with the curves like this, like halfway to the curve, at this point you stop braking, start accelerating, right?
You'd actually brake into the point where the corner's starting to open up again.
Okay.
But we're not going to be doing that today. If you try and do that in this car, you'll find that the electronics don't actually like you braking and steering at the same time, so they start to make interventions as if things were going wrong. So we definitely want to get the braking done, keep the car stable mid-corner, and as we come out of the bend, that's when we can start to feed the power back in again. Okay, so press the brake pedal for me hard as you can. Now we've got a little bit of stretch going on. Maintain your pressure on the pedal there, Carl. I'm going to bring the seat forward now. As I do this, let your knee bend. Keep the pressure on the pedal, hard as you can. Okay, you can release that pressure now, that's fine. Next thing to do, put your hands together, point at the windscreen over the top of the steering.
What made you decide that's the perfect distance?
Okay, because what you're able to apply the brakes fully, but your leg's not extended. You've still got some bend there.
It makes perfect sense. Okay. So arms right here.
Okay. Now, if you look where you're at, keep shoulders right in the back of the seat. Where you are now is, see, that's the bit of your hand that's resting on the steering wheel. Ideally, we actually want your wrist when you're doing that. So
I'm going to come forward then.
Well,
this is already telescoped all the way.
Yeah. Okay. So just.
So shoulders touching.
Shoulders right in the back of the seat. I'm just going to bring it a little more up right here. Okay, we can get away with that now. So hands
now having head conflicts.
Hands at 9 and 3 on the wheel. Okay, so
9 and 3.
That's it. So your little thumbs fall onto the recess. Okay, we can get away actually. You can recline yourself a little bit there, just a little bit, so you haven't got that head conflict anymore.
Okay.
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 Okay. So. All I've done there, I've put you in what we call the control position. So control position, you're using shoulders and biceps rather than wrists and forearms to turn the wheel, less fatiguing, more control. The seat.
What muscles? My shoulder muscles?
Yeah, so you're using, if your arms are outstretched like that,
extended,
you're using this bit of the arm to turn the wheel.
But I can't grip it if my hands are, if my these.
No, most drivers will actually, they'll hold the wheel like that, but their arms are like that.
Like this.
So if you're trying to turn, that's the bit of your arm that's making the effort. In the control position, you're naturally using your shoulders and biceps to turn rather than wrists and forearms.
Should I have lots of pressure pushed up against the seat like this as a result of me pushing on the wheel?
Well, but you don't need to push like that. Just stay relaxed behind the wheel. The point I'm making is that most drivers sit too far away from the wheel anyway. Okay. If you look at any race driver behind the wheel of the car, they're there. That's the control position. But we've got to compromise in a road car because we need to leave space for the airbag to deploy. If you're there, the airbag goes off.
Yeah, I was just going to say because he'll punch you in the face. That's why those change at 9 and 3. Okay.
So there's a compromise for a road driving position. Okay, right now to find a gear in this car, you have to have your foot on the brake.
Understood. No, we're going to start automatic, right? True automatic.
Absolutely. Let's see where we get to. So foot on the brake, and just stick your hand on the gear shift there. Pull it towards you. Click back once. Now we're in drive. If you come into the middle, in reverse rather. If you come back one more click there, now we're in neutral.
Where's
all
the
the way back is drive. That's the indicator there.
I meant where it tells me. Okay.
So there you are.
Okay.
So it always tells you there what state the car's in. Okay. So you've got control of the car now, Carl. We're following the road around the edge of the building. Just walking speed here. We're in a pedestrian area. Now we might need to stop to let them go across. And then we're turning left down towards where it says driving experience there.
Maybe let me know if I'm going too fast.
Well, so just keep it walking speed for now. So we're turning left, we go down the slope.
Is this the reason signals on?
The hazards are on, don't worry, I'll switch those off in a moment. That's just a safety regulation we've got. So we're going over the traffic circle there in front of us onto the road in front. There's a 30 limit on here. I'm just going to get you away from the curb.
Oh, I'm sorry. I take the apex. I wasn't going to hit it.
Yeah, but don't worry about
left or right or center.
So just stay midway between the curb and the white line for now.
Okay.
We're not. This isn't the track. This is the access road that we use to move between those exercise areas. Okay. About 100 metres down on the right-hand side, in fact, just where the SLS has turned there are two big blue and white pylons. So we're turning between the pylons, and in fact, we're going to be pulling up behind the SLS there.
Right where it is right now.
Yeah.
Okay. My mirrors are good. Guys, this is the first time I'm driving inverted because I'm from the States.
Where are you from in the States?
California, Orange County.
It's a bit of the States I've never actually been to.
Okay,
so we're pulling up behind the red SLS.
This doesn't have very much feedback on the wheel. Like when I let go of it, it doesn't self-center as much as other cars I've driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that because of fly-by-wire?
No, no. You've got to correct. This is actually it's a hydraulic assisted rack and pinion steering system on the car.
So does that mean it is not fly-by-wire?
No, it's not fly-by-wire.
Do you believe in that technology?
Well, it's starting.
It's
it's starting to come in. when they can give you as much feedback through fly-by-wire as you get through normal steering, then I'll be in favour of it. But I do. You've got to be able to feel what the car's doing, and if you haven't got a direct connection between yourself and the road, it's quite difficult to achieve that, I would suggest. Okay, so Carl, what we're going to do, I'm just popping us into park for a moment or two here. When we move on for a moment, we're looking for positive acceleration. If you floor it immediately, what's going to happen?
Well, it depends if I have traction control or not.
You've got it on, but what's going to happen?
Well, it's going to spin, it's going to chirp, and then it's going to grip, and then chirp, and it's going to grip, and then chirp. That's the function of traction control.
Okay, so what it's trying to do is prevent the wheel spin, of course, and it does that effectively by restricting the torque that's making available at the rear wheels for you. The trouble is, if you've got a restriction of torque, you're compromising your ability to accelerate, aren't you?
Well, not necessarily, because if you don't have enough traction, you're just going to spin in place, obviously.
Well, yeah, but that's okay to get. You need that to get off the line potentially if you over-egg it. But if you constantly getting wheel spin and the system's then reining you back, you're not getting optimum acceleration, are you? If you can accelerate just underneath the threshold that ESP,
threshold of what, the grip?
The threshold that ESP feels it's got to do something.
What's ESP?
Electronic stability program. So this is the traction control.
Oh, so Mercedes doesn't call it traction control.
Well, traction control is a part of ESP, but ESP does a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Okay. So if we can accelerate just underneath the threshold that traction control is doing something, you've got optimum acceleration.
I see. So if I'm at that level, it's a loss of energy.
Absolutely. So you're just accelerating, trying to do it without wheel spin until the point that you hear me say brake, at which point you're going to stamp on the brakes hard as you can. Okay.
So what percentage on the gas, like 80%?
Well, just do it by feel. Do it by feel. Okay, so I mean, we're looking for 100% in the fullness of time, but you can't do it immediately.
Because if I did, it would
Absolutely.
All right.
So again, just familiarise yourself with the movement between the brake and the gas before we do this. Okay, here we go. We're back into gear now.
Oh, you're moving the brake.
Yeah. Okay. So off we go. Start off. A little bit too much to go on. Back on it again. Keep feeding. Keep feeding. Keep feeding. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Brake hard. Cut. Party cat. Stamp. 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 Okay. So it's about 1,600 odd to 1,650 kilos of car about there, and yeah, I mean it starts and stops okay, doesn't it? Yeah, it brings a smile to the face.
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay, so there we are. That's how the brakes modulate. That's how sensitive the throttle is. Let's go and have a little bit of a play on the track now. So we're just trundling between exercises.
All right. So left.
Yeah, at the white arrow we're turning left.
Alright, I try to take the apex, so I'm not going to damage the car.
Don't worry about apex, isn't it? Because we're not on the track at the moment. Okay, left-hand side here. 30 miles an hour along here.
At what time is it appropriate to have one hand on the wheel? Like when I'm taking a tight turn?
Okay, 30 miles an hour along here, car. Slow down. Slow down, slow down, slow down. So this isn't a track, this is a two-way road.
I'm sorry.
Okay, just at the bus stop here, we're turning right. And there's a stop line as we turn in. We've got to be over on the left-hand side because this is still two-way. Okay. Now, your question about one hand on the wheel.
Yeah.
What
like right now.
Yeah, just hold here. What I would argue is never a good idea.
But what if I'm like, because we have to lift one up to do that.
If you're using rotational steering, there will be instance where you might have that.
Exactly.
Okay. So what we're going to use on track now is a technique called fixed input steering, where you just keep your hands at 9 and 3 on the wheel, and that's how you're steering the car. In fact, the biggest steering input, if we get a line right through the corner, the biggest steering input you're ever going to have to put in is about that. No, you won't be that crossed.
So what's the maximum, like right here?
Yeah, you don't really want to be going past that. Okay. But let's see how it goes. So we're always staying inside the white lines on the track. The only exception is the dotted one in front of us here. This is the overtaking lay-by, which we might need to use to get past cars or to allow them to pass us.
Did you say stay on the left or the right side of the dotted line?
Here we're staying between the lines. So the main part of the track, if we come out, we'll just let the SLS come through, and we'll come out behind the SLS. We'll do one little slow lap of the track to start off with, so you get familiar with the geography of the place.
Okay. Now my question is, when did the 30 minutes start? Did it start?
It started the moment you got into the car.
Oh, I see. Well, that doesn't leave much time for me to drive it, does it?
Well, I was trying to get us moving out, but there's lots of questions coming on. Okay, turn left here. Let's get it going. Right. So we've got these white lines, solid white lines. We're always in between these white lines. Now this is a handling circuit. So it's very tight and twisty. It's only 7 meters wide. Loads and loads of really tight corners coming up in much quicker succession than you get under normal driving conditions. Try not to look down into the corners, Kyle. Eyes up. Look through the corner where you want the car to go.
Okay.
So this next bend is quite an open one, but try not to look towards the inside. Look through the inside of the corner back towards the outside of the track. Yeah, try and take the corners in one bite rather than a series of increments as your eyes move naturally through them.
Where should I be right now as far as speed is concerned?
Well, don't worry about speed for now. Let's get the, as I say, if we get the control right, that's where the speed's going to come from.
Okay. And
so we're braking on the approach to the corner here. Off as we turn in, keep the car moving through the mid-corner. Again, look through the corner at where you want the car to go. Can you see we're about to turn right again?
Yeah, so that's why I'm coming out.
Have a look through the side window. See how sharp that bend is.
Okay.
So if we broaden as well as extending vision, we're going to get even more information, aren't we? Yeah?
What do you mean?
Well, if you look ahead...
Okay.
Have a look through... Don't look where the car's pointing you. Look through the side window. Here, where you're going to be in 2 seconds' time. See what I mean about broadening your vision rather than just looking ahead? Now, we've got 2 cars behind us. I'm just going to let them come through. So we're crossing the dotted line on the left-hand side here. Just cross the line. Slow down. Cruise towards the orange pylon at the far end there. Just nice and slow. As soon as the SLS has come past, you can rejoin. Okay, rejoin. So there we are. That's the overtaking process. What I'm talking about with vision here, Carl, we spend most of our time driving looking through a slot about this big in the middle of the windscreen.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, in any car you ever buy, you're going to be paying for all 3 sheets of glass. Why on earth wouldn't you use them? Okay. You've got to look as far ahead as you can. So eyes up, look through the corner where you want the car to go. Never put your car where you haven't put your eyes first.
Okay.
Most important thing I ever say to anyone. So I know it feels a little bit unnatural because you're not looking where you're at anymore. You're looking where you're going. Yeah. But are you finding already that that's helps to judge the corners?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wish this was transparent.
Okay.
Right.
So. Well, it's one of those things, you'll just get used to it. That's where the A pillar is. And
Are you braking right now?
No, I'm not touching.
Oh, never mind.
Okay. So now we've got you looking in the right directions. Let's start thinking about what the car does as we go through corners. So we turn into the corner, the car changes direction, of course. What happens to us? Where do we want to go as the car moves to the left now? Where are our bodies going?
What do you mean? I mean, like
where's inertia taking
I was just going to use the word inertia. Okay. It's funny you say that.
So inertia's causing some weight transfer here, isn't it?
Yes.
Now I weigh in at about 85 kilos. I can feel that weight transfer quite keenly. Imagine what that's doing to 1600 kilos of C-class.
A lot.
Okay, so as we come into this next left-hander here, we're shifting weight to the outside of the car. That's loaded those tyres up, and it's changed the grip they've got, hasn't it?
Is it electronic?
No, that's just done, but that's just weight. That's a natural process. So we turn left here, the weight transfers to the outside of the car. Those tyres unweight, these tyres weight up.
Now, would a positive camber intensify that effect?
It will certainly change the way that it works, but there are downsides to putting too much camber on in terms of tyre. Yeah, absolutely. There's a balance to be struck, as with all of these things. Okay, so we're braking on the approach to the corner. What we want to do is try to avoid moving weight too much. We want to try and put the weight in one place for a corner and keep it there. That's what I mean.
And be consistent.
Absolutely. So we've got to get the braking done before we arrive at the corner, keep the car stable mid-bend by maintaining speed and keeping the steering still. Yep. And then we can accelerate as we come off the corner. So again, I'm just going to let the car behind come through.
Or should I go left or right?
Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cross that dotted line. So what I want to do is establish a little pattern in your mind now, Carl. So cross the line, cruising through. In fact, we'll let both SLSs come through. Just keep moving very slowly forward. Yeah, there's another one back here now. And we'll let that E-Class come through as well. Sit tight, sit tight, sit tight.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said third one?
Come. Okay. Don't worry, he's really...
Oh, shit.
Who is that?
Wanker.
White E-Class on north. I'd like to see a little more control coming through North 8 next time, please.
Was this unacceptable or what?
It wasn't particularly safe. So
I'm trying to maintain as much consistency as possible when turning.
So as I say, I'm going to try and establish this this pattern in your mind, so we get the control right through the corners. So I'm going to use some keywords: brake, balance, power. Brake, we're slowing the car down to where we're going to turn in. Balance, we've turned the car into the corner, we're keeping it nice and stable, speed and constant steering, and then as we come out of the corner, we're feeding the power back in.
Do you slam on it or feather it, or both, or in between?
Think of both brake and gas as valves rather than switches. They're not on or off.
They're analog, not digital.
Exactly. We've got degrees of on or off. So it's a bit like getting toothpaste out of a tube. You don't go, you squeeze the tube to get the right amount. And we're going to be doing the same thing with brake and gas. Okay, so just keep us moving constant speed. How we're looking where we're going. You can feed some power in now, Kyle. Now we're braking for the next corner. Off the brake, turn, balance the car now, speed and steering, and feed power again. Go on. Brakes now. Off the brakes, look through the corner, turn and balance. Keep your balance through the second part of the corner here. And as soon as you start to reopen, steering angle, here we go, feed the power back in, push the car out of the corner now. Off power brake. Stay on the brakes, Kyle. Off the brakes, turn and balance. Keep us balanced. Use the width of the track here. Look through your apex back towards the outside of the track. Push the car out of the corner. Push, 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 push. Brake firm. Not too much. Doesn't need to be emergency. Okay, off the brakes, turn.
So right where that brake sign is that the recommended distance from the track?
Yeah, basically the brake board there, it's more than just a polite suggestion. We're giving you 100 metres to get the speed off the car so you can get it turned in. If you try and leave it all to the last 10 metres, you're potentially causing yourself problems, aren't you?
Okay. I'm getting used to this whole like looking ahead while driving thing, but when I do, I take my eyes off the immediate road.
But just keep, let the car come through again. It will seem unnatural because
that's not how you normally drive.
It's not how you normally drive. Okay, off we go again. Okay, so balance us through. Oh, he messed that up. He messed that up big time.
I didn't see.
Well, okay, he came into the corner way too fast, lifted off the gas in the middle of the bend, and the back of the car.
Oh, he lost traction. Yeah.
Got lift off oversteer there. So that's what happens when you try too hard. So keep it balanced. Use the width. Eyes up, looking. Don't push too hard too soon. Keep it balanced. Now we've got the opening steer angle. Feed your power in. That's it. Stay on the left here. Brake. More brake. That's it. Good. Off the brakes, turn and balance. Brake for the next one. Off the brakes, turn and balance. We've got to do the same thing at every corner, Carl. It's a systematic approach to keeping the car as stable as possible through the corners. The more stable you keep the car, the more you can make it do. One of the great Formula One drivers of the last century was a fella called Jim Clark.
Okay.
And he was unquestionably the outstanding driver of his generation. And arguably one of the all-time greats. Jimmy always used to say, if I want the car to go faster, I don't drive it harder, I concentrate more. And he wasn't thinking about speed as you're starting to think now. He was focused on control, doing what he needed to do to get the car to go where he wanted it to. So stay relaxed behind the wheel, keep it smooth, brakes now, speed off, weight on the nose so you can turn in with confidence. Now you've arrived at the corner outside your comfort zone that time. You wouldn't get off the brakes to turn in that time.
What do you mean?
Always arrive at the corner inside your comfort zone. That will leave you with a little bit in reserve. Again, think analog, not digital.
I like that expression. It makes perfect sense.
So keep it balanced. Now we can feed the power.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, again, a little bit too digital there. And did you feel the back of the car?
Yeah, like half second.
Okay, so again, just like it happened in the straight line, if you do that, every millimetre the car's going sideways is a millimetre we're not going forward. Relax, relax, relax. Look at you behind the wheel. Drop the shoulders, breathe out again. Otherwise you're going to go blue in the face. Not too much too early. Again, if you put too much power on too early, then you have to back off again.
You're exactly right. Yeah, I just noticed that.
Brake, 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 brake. Don't ignore that brake. So again, we've arrived at the corner outside the comfort zone. Get more braking done earlier in the braking phase.
Okay, I noticed that. I noticed that right after I did it too. That wasn't consistent enough.
Well, we're getting there. Look at where we are now compared to the first lap that we did out of the track. We can see there's some major improvement going on already. So just to help you...
That blue cone is a recommendation to start accelerating, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, no. You've got orange pylons here, and they show you where you need to be looking next. The blue cones, especially when they're lying on their side, show you which way you're going to be turning.
I don't like how it's shifting for me. It shifts too early.
Brake.
It's shifting too early. I would have stayed in third.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just sharpen the gearbox up for you a little bit there. Now he's going to get out of the way, so he's going to let the flyby happen. Don't push him too hard. Just stay a couple of car lengths further back off him. That's it. Now he's going to get out of the way. We're going to stay all the way on the inside of the track. Stay inside the white line. Sorry, Kyle, it's okay. Stay on the inside of the track, miles away from him. That's it.
I screwed my corner up though.
Yeah, but we've got to do that for safety. Now you can go back to taking the lines that you want through the corner. Okay, you're braking and turning at the same time. Get the braking done earlier. Not too much too early. Keep it going, keep it going. Onto the brakes now. More brake, more brake. Off, turn, balance.
So you should turn right after you let go of the brake.
Well, you're aiming to be releasing the brake as you're turning. It happens simultaneously. So you're easing off the brake pedal just as you're starting to turn into the corner.
That was too sharp right there.
Okay. Do you know, have you worked out why you're having difficulty judging that corner?
It's hard for me to think hard right now.
Okay. You're not looking in the right place. 99% of the time, if a corner goes wrong, it's because you're not looking in the right place. Brake. Oh!
That was
You're
lovely.
overdriving the car. Just relax a bit. Just stay calm behind the wheel. Brake now. Give yourself more time. Stay on the brakes. Off now. Turn. Balance. Just relax. Now push us out. Then brake for the next one. Keep it as systematic as you possibly can. Balance. Keep us moving. Ease off the gas, turn back the other way, eyes up, look at the next orange cone, that's where you need to be looking. Oh. Now you're looking at the next one. See it is?
Oh God.
Too much too early, relax, again you're going digital on me. Now there's no cone to look at this corner, so you're sweeping your eyes to the left, Carl, that's where your eyes need to be. It's a complex of corners, that's where we want to end up.
And this is when I take my eyes off, I don't see things that are right in front of me, and it kind of like...
Stay relaxed, balance, feed, power. That's it. Now brake firm, speed off, weight on the nose, stay on the brakes, off, turn, balance, relax. You don't need to chuck the car into the corner, we can make all of these, we can smooth all of these applications out. Okay, again, where were you looking? Wrong place, you were looking halfway around the corner, weren't you?
That gives me restraint.
Yeah, your pack seems to have escaped from its restraint. Easy tiger. Push. There we go. Brake. Stay on those brakes. Stay on. Off, turn, balance, and brake again. Okay. Now, we're going to be exiting the track this time because regrettably our half hour has come to its inevitable conclusion. So we're leaving through the gap this time.
Turn left?
Absolutely, and then right. And we're back into two-way traffic now, so... Okay, yeah, just come out now. Come out. That's it. Okay. Can't dawdle when we're turning across traffic. Okay. So, compare your first lap to your last lap.
I feel like I could have had a lot more laps to actually, because like you said, like inertia. You know, I just started getting that inertia, and now it's, you know.
So we're over the traffic circle and turning right at the yield sign. 36. This is
I never
1-4.
did the
I'll be back at the
Triptronic.
traffic doors in 1 minute.
I never got an opportunity to use a Triptronic.
Yeah, but don't you think you had enough to you had a lot to think about the basic cornering technique
thing
without
about it,
worrying about that.
when
Look at the sweat you've worked
when
up.
I first called yesterday, I made it very clear to them I wanted a manual transmission. They told me it was Triptronic. I said, okay, that's fine. And the whole time I had my mindset at Triptronic.
Okay.
You know, like I don't.
You've
I even told you in the beginning how mindset I was on manual, and I was kind